only get one life to live. We only got one life to live. Yeah, I feel the shit in my spirit. Whatever I got, I'ma give. Yeah, I had to look in the mirror, so that's what I got up and did. Yeah, now that I see what it is, I finally feel I can get out and live. Live. Yeah, live. Yeah.
You are now tuned in for the first episode of Pure Potential, the podcast. I am very excited to just be starting this finally. It's been like a year now that I've been trying to get this off the floor running. And when I say trying, I could have put in a lot more effort, but we're here now. But I am so excited to be here with you all and to be sharing this podcast with you. This is something that's very important to me. And before I even get into all that other stuff, let me give out some shout outs real quick and huge thank yous to some people. I want to give a shout out to my family and my friends for continuing to encourage me, challenge me, and just holding me accountable to doing this podcast thing. So thank you all so much. I'd like to give out a shout out as well to Hayes and to Gold Hayes and Flex for the intro. I really appreciate you all coming through and going crazy. So Hayes is the one who prepped the beat, the one who produced it and everything, and then Flex came in and he cooked the beat. So he came on there and he flossed on it and he walked on it. So I appreciate the two of you all for doing your thing. Hoping to get to you all on the show very soon. So y'all can look out for that one too. And yeah, I would just like to give out thanks to, anyone who has been a helping hand in supporting me and also just guiding me along the way. It's so many people I can name, but we're gonna give flowers at another time. But you all know who you are, and I really do appreciate you. And so now I want to get into Pure Potential. You may be wondering, what is Pure Potential? Have you heard of Pure Potential before? There's so many things that it can be defined as, if there is any. I didn't even look at that, but I created my own definition or my own meaning for pure potential. But I'll tell you about how it came about. I was in my I was in my senior year of college. And so in senior year of college, I had an extra year, so extra senior or super senior, that's what they say. So my final year, rather than being on campus, doing my classes and everything, I was doing everything online. So I was living in Chicago at the time with my buddies, and we were all roommates. And during that period, it was just a lot going on, especially just during the pandemic period. That was 2020, around 2020, December. So between August 2020 to December, I say January 2020, I was very much in this, I was in this headspace where I was just on a quest to discover more about myself. And I would definitely credit that to the classes that I was taking during that semester. There was just so many things I was learning about myself as we had assignments that had us go into personal things from our childhood. And so one of the assignments was creating a timeline. And I was just like, man, there's so many defining moments on this timeline that I have. And sometimes we may never take the time to look at those moments in our life. So it was really just eye-opening for me to see how far I've come, how much I've grown, and also just how much I've learned from each of those situations as I was reflecting. So during that period, I was just doing a lot of just inner work. I had went through, relationship things and romantic relationship things that didn't work out. So it was just like a deep dive into myself during that period of time specifically. But I will say sophomore year, when I had went into my major and switched it to recreation management, there was a lot of classes where we were doing like leadership things. I was actually therapeutic recreation before I switched to recreation management. So in that there was a lot of techniques for therapy, therapies and techniques for the different therapies. So I was getting a chance to learn about things that can be used in helping individuals in their recovery, in their recovery process. So um, I learned a lot during those periods of time, but in all of those classes I was taking, a lot of things were things that we had to reflect on. So I feel like from time to time we have classes or courses that we may have taken, anyone that relates, that has you thinking or has you reflecting from your actual or your personal life or story. And so during that period, there was a lot of questions that were like being asked. And I'm like, wow, like I never really thought, too deeply into, questions of self awareness. So it's a lot of self-awareness in these things. So that kind of jump started me a little bit in just the reflection area. And another thing that I really enjoyed just doing during my college period was listening to audibles as well as interviews. Those were huge for me. So I'm one of them YouTube guys. Yeah. I love being on YouTube and just watching videos, interviews, documentaries. There's just so many different things that I'll be doing on YouTube, but Audible and YouTube were my like two biggest things. And to be real with you all, those things helped me a lot. And it was during the pandemic I got into podcasts. So it was the videos on YouTube and the audibles, and then I just started getting into podcasts. Like I think I was just watching some YouTube video, and then someone was saying that they were a podcast host, and I'm like, oh, okay, like let me check out their podcast. And then from there, I think it was Jay Shetty. But from there, I dived into it a lot more, and there was so many different podcasts that were just out there that I was just enjoying, but they were helping me in my personal life. So that's how we're going to get into how Pure Potential came about and the reason why I'm doing this podcast, the purpose of it. And so during that time, I was going like obviously through rough things, but they were helping me in my journey. So I looked at it as a thing where it's like, okay, there's so many that's out there. And there was things that I was like, there were so many people I think that's just so interesting in the world that I'm just like, well, I come across these so many amazing people and interesting people across the internet, in person, and just people I know off the strength. So it's like family, friends. These are people that are closest and nearest to me as well. And I'm like, a lot of these people are just so interesting, talented, intelligent, so funny. And I feel the thing that related with everyone was just that they all had their own stories, right? And within everybody's stories is different, but at the same time there was similarities between stories because I have just so many people in my life. So it's like when I'm talking to one friend, another friend's going through something similar, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. One of my other friends going through something similar too. So for me, and how Pure Potential came about, I was very much just excited because I saw the opportunity to put something out there that essentially is good and it could help somebody, right? Because it helped me, and I'm all about paying things forward. So that's how I was looking at it. I was like, okay, like I actually enjoy talking to individuals and connecting with them, right? So then it's like, okay, if I could get sit downs and conversations with some of the people around me, that's just, those people already alone have so much wisdom and have already done a lot of the reflection on their own. And we talk about these things all the time, but just not with the microphone right in front of us, right? So that's kind of how the idea of the podcast came about. And also, you're wondering, what is pure potential and where did the name come from? So for me, I always used to say, oh, like, you know, full potential this, full potential that. But then I'm like, is there when they say full potential, does that mean that we've reached our capacity to, or our capabilities of doing something? Like, I really think that full potential, or potential just in general, is limitless, right? We're not sure what we're capable of. We're not sure where we're going. There's so much unknown in this world. So for me, it was like, okay, I think that if with the word pure, it's showing that you're intentional in your approach and intentional in the way you take action, as well as it being things that will get you to that next thing, but it's essentially grounded in some qualities that I think is important to mention. So I'll get into those things in a little bit, but I kind of just wanted to let you have an idea of what pure potential is, right? So it's standing on and then grounded in certain things that are within you, right? I look at it as a superpower. I believe that through, I think it's 5 things I'm going to mention, right? But through first, this is not part of them, but first reflection is important just to even get to the point of understanding what those things are, what those things that I'm about to mention are. So reflection as well as action. Everything with the reflection, there's action, right? So you reflect, but in order for you to make a difference or take steps or to see something happen, right? Having a result, it's action that's needed behind it. So a few of those things that I want to mention, of those 5 things, is one, is understanding and having a value system. That was something that I had learned about when I was in college. We typically have values, but we don't really know it sometimes until we are asked it. And that was what was asked of me. What is your values? And I'm like, oh, I have never really been asked this question. So I believe that you need to have a value system in place, because those are the things that will guide you along your journey. And those are the things that you deeply care about the most. So first, identifying what is in your value system. You can start with as many as 9, 10, but definitely trying to narrow them down to understand what are the things that you care about most, right? It can be family. It can be relationships. It can be charity. It can be, it's so many things, but taking the time to look at those values you do have already in place can give you an idea of what you currently are doing in your life, or possibly not even doing, because it may not be aligning with what your values are, but that will always guide you, right? Especially to the long game. Number 2 is health. So health is very important, just because we need to take care of our health, right? And when you think of health, you can think about so many different things. But when I speak in health in this way, I'm speaking specifically about the food you're getting. Are you getting the nutrients you need? Are you getting sleep? Are you getting rest? Are you allowing yourselves to have time for leisure activities? So you're gonna see that it goes into the next one hand in hand, which is mindset. So if you think about health, it can comprise of, the social emotional aspect, as well as the physical aspect and the mental health aspect, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand, right? And with the mindset, when I look at that and what I think of when I see mindset, it's asking yourself, what is your attitude like? What is your mental state like at this very moment? Are you challenging yourself daily? Are you doing things that add to the quality of the mind? So those are things I think about when it comes to mindset. And so that's just three of the things now. And then going into the fourth one, you have your heart. So this is checking in with yourself, right? So it's, how do I feel? It's looking at your emotions. Are you regulating and are you managing your emotions? Are you feeling their emotions? Are you having meaningful conversations? Are you connecting with others? How are your relationships? Right? So those are the things that I think about when it comes to the heart. So just checking in kind of with how you feel. And that's kind of how I was saying with the mindset. Checking in with your mind. How is your mind? And then the physical aspect for health. How is your health? And then value system. And then going into the last one is going to be dreams. So we all have dreams. We all have dreams, right? I hope so. If not, start dreaming. Really start dreaming, because dreaming allows us to look forward to something in a way, right? It's allowing us it's the gift that we have as humans, essentially, to see something and dream it and make it and manifest it into something in our present, right? We can do that. We have that gift. Now we don't know. You can shoot for the moon. At the end of the day, you're gonna end up on the stars, even if you fall short of where it is. I just look at it as it's moving you through life, it's giving you purpose. So it's allowing you to, one, take action. Those dreams, it's not gonna make itself happen on its own, right? You have to take action. You have to be able to get up and get moving towards those things. So when I think about dreams, I'm asking myself, am I doing things to move myself closer to those dreams? Are the decisions that I'm making based off my values, right? Your values and your dreams have to correlate, because at the end of the day, your values is what helps you in your decision making, right? So it's helping you in your decision making, and it's also guiding you towards those dreams. So whatever your dreams are, you probably will have values that will guide you towards those things. So, because it's the things you care about deeply. So I would say it is a pursuit of the unknown, but isn't that exciting? It's scary, but it's exciting at the same time. So those are the 5 things. I'll repeat them again. Value system. 2 is health. 3 is mindset. 4 is heart. 5 is dreams. And so, like I said, in order for you to really even get to this point, at least for me, how that happened was by reflecting. And it's just by asking questions. Ask questions. Ask the people around you questions. Ask yourself questions. That's all I do. I love asking questions. I'm very curious. So ask some questions and sit with your feelings. Sit with how you feel. And after you've done and you've done your reflection, that's when you take action. So you're creating it helps you to create that plan. But these are the things that I just think come together to create what is, in my opinion, that lifestyle, that pure potential lifestyle. These are the things that is grounding you. Obviously, for those who are spiritual, your spirituality is something too that you possibly can add there to your values. So when you add that, you're gonna essentially having your daily things that you care about, which is your spirituality. Then you're gonna have your practices included. If you're religious, you'll have your religious practices included during the day. So these are just some of the things I want to share with you. Reflection is key, and it's important to do this on your own. If you've never done that inner work, that shadow work, do that on your own. It's only so much that other people can help you with, but the things that are happening internally is really up to you to take care of. So I know you can do it. You know, we all are here to support you in this community. If you ever want to reach out, send an email, reach out, and it's a community we're building. So you have people in your community, I hope so, that you can count on and lean on. And so that's pretty much it. I'm excited. Are you all excited? I'm very excited. So I'm going to give you all that was pretty loud. I'm going to give you all an idea of what this is going to look like. It's me, Mr. Deji, Pure Potential. I will be having guests regularly, and they'll be to the right of me or to the left of me. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, right? And then there'll be moments like this where it's just me. I hope that's good enough. But we'll be diving into so many topics and themes, things that I have experienced, people I know have experienced, and the people who I bring on their experiences, and just sharing this because I would like for everyone to have the opportunity to hear the stories of others who may be going through similar things that you're going through, right? Just so you can have potential tools that you need to navigate through your life in this very moment. So that's that. Subscribe to the YouTube. The name is Namaste Bottega. Yes, this is brought to you by Namaste Bottega. So you can follow us on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube, and then add that notification on, that little bing. Yeah, the bell. You can add us and you can subscribe, and then you can add that notification on so you always get an update whenever we post, because you'll be getting posts coming very soon. And then on all streaming, we're going to be on all streaming platforms. So whatever you use, Google, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, we'll be there. Again, this is Pure Potential, the podcast. It's your host, Deji. I should have said that in the beginning. But it's your host, Deji, and I'm doing my best. But this is the first episode, and I'm excited for you all to hear it. Please, if you had anything that resonated with you, please leave a comment below. If any of those 5 things did resonate with you that you currently are doing or plan to do, or if you're doing all these things, I would love to see your feedback and responses in the comment sections below. All right? Until I see you again, stay blessed and highly favored. And please, please, please share this. I love you all. Peace.